name is Swede. I'm a producer from the 808 Mafia. I produce music for mainly like hip-hop artists. I started out playing music in bands, like metal bands, rock bands. That was how I got into music. And then, I was doing that for a few years with touring, and playing bands. That was my life at the time. And then suddenly the singer of my last band quit in the middle of recording of an album. So, I kind of panicked. And I tried to learn, how to make beats or to write songs for other artists. Because at that time, I was writing songs for my band. So I thought it could be easy to write songs for other artists as well, but it wasn't. So it took me a lot of years to learn that and to learn how to produce music. And then I got into music production. I never worked a regular job. I never went to school, so I couldn't do anything else but music. That was my life. So I went, bought a computer, and then, I spent so many time in the front of the computer just to try learn, how to make beats, how to produce music. At that time when I was playing bands, I was going out every day, partying with my friends. And from the day that I decided I want to learn music production, I stopped going out. My friend were calling me, so, oh, let's go out tonight, it's Friday, So no, I'm not going out anymore. I'm here, I need to learn this. I want to be good at these things. So, I spent many years just in the front of my computer, trying to get some knowledge from YouTube, from friends, everywhere I could, And that's how I learn. But as I said, it's a never-ending story, I always learn something new every day, I was producing pop music in Sweden. At that time, I was living in Sweden. And even though my dream was to work with like hip-hop artists, the market wasn't really there in Sweden, So I was working in a studio, I was making like pop music during the day. And nighttime I was staying in the studio to make like beats, hip-hop beats, just for me, just because I love that, right? So I got like a few placements in Europe, but my breakthrough, I guess, so my first big placement was in Russia, with an artist called Sergei Lazarev. And I didn't know at that time, but apparently he is one of the biggest artists in Russia. And I produced and co-wrote a song on his album. That year was end of 2012. The album went like gold within like 3 months. And that kind of like, not open doors, but with that I could like travel to the US, try to make connections for my hip hop stuff. And when people ask me what I did, I say, well, I have a gold record in Russia, with these artists, I did that. You never have a breakthrough. I mean, you can have, I guess, the biggest, you can have a big hit, but you never better than your last record, right? So you always have to prove yourself. And if you have a big hit today, it's not given that, you're still up there next year. You always have to prove yourself. Not just because of the business, but because of, of the knowledge, and you always have to strive for learning more and doing better music. I always loved playing bands. The thing that I didn't love about that was that the different individuals, and sometimes you're on different levels. That's why the singer quit. Me and the other guys in the band were like 100% in there, we put our soul in that, while the singer wasn't there. And that's hard because, they ruin a lot of things for everybody, So it's hard to deal with people, and make them see what you're seeing. So being a producer, in a way, I guess it's, you're by yourself. So at the end of the day, it's up to you how much work you want to put in. On the other hand, you have to like work with artists, with other producers, with other songwriters, with labels, So it's, you still have those kind of relationships, you still have to like listen to other people, compromise. But in terms of the amount of work you want to put in, then it's up to you. And then always easier because nobody can tell you, no, I don't feel like, making music today. Then it's, up to you. I think it was December 2014, around that time. I got in touch with the guy from 808 Mafia on Twitter. And, I was sending songs back and forth, and then, he was like, he asked me if I want to join the team. So, say, well, that's, I'm more than happy to do that, But once again, I thought, that once you join a team, once you come in touch with a person that, has more credits than you, work more than you, you're there. You don't need to do anything, you know. There was a thought that just hit me, right? But it wasn't like that, you know. It's always about proving yourself, you know. And he told me too, you know, you're on the team now, but you gotta prove yourself. So, you know, I just kept my head down, you know, and kept working until the day that, you know, I got in touch with Southside, you know, and some other guys from 808 Mafia too, some of my producers, you know, we started working together. And, you know, like last year in, I think it was in December, I co-produced a song with Southside on the Gucci Mane album, right? And I'm so grateful for that opportunity, you know, but that would never happen, you know, if I didn't put in the hard work from the beginning, you know. So I guess, you know, you need to work hard and people will notice you, you know. It's not about, you know, like, oh, now I know this guy and good, you know. It's not about asking favors or anything like that, you know. It's about hard work and people will notice you. I think in the first place, 808 Mafia is a brand and is a sound. Everybody knows 808 Mafia for the work that 808 Mafia has done. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about now Southside, you know, and the guys that they were there from the beginning. For me, 808 Mafia is the production team, right? So I'm a part of a team and, you know, not necessarily, you know, we work together, you know. I mean, I've worked with Southside, I work with some other guys from the team as well, you know. But most of the time, I just work on my own because, you know, I always, as I say, I want to prove myself for everybody, especially when I got this opportunity to be on a team as 808 Mafia, you know. I don't want to wait for anybody else to help me or something like that, you know. So sometimes we work together, sometimes I work on my own. Every year, you know, you have a new sound, you know, and that's why I don't want to ride the wave of somebody else, you know, just because they create the sound in the beginning and just because I'm on the team, I don't want to like, oh, that's the 808 Mafia sound. So I always want to create my own sound and try to, you know, stand out for what I can. So I spend a lot of time just trying to figure out, you know, how to go to create a new sound. Every 6 months or whatever, you know, I have a new sound slightly because I'm always researching, you know, I'm always experimenting. Lately, you know, I've been doing a lot of like soul songs, you know, they sound like vintage old songs. And I do that and then I put them aside. And when I make beats, I open the folder and I sample my own songs. And I do that because that way, you know, that's my sound and I don't need to sample, I don't need to give up publishing, I don't need to go through clearance. So that's why I start doing that. I hope, you know, I can tell my story quickly, you know, I hope I can go through like a couple of songs, you know, and show them how I make music. And most of all, you know, I hope I can inspire them in a way or be able to give them advices that are, you know, like useful. Well, my advice would be to work hard, you know, and follow the steps. Don't skip the steps because music production or being an artist or working with music, you know, it's like any other business. So you gotta start somewhere, you gotta invest in yourself, you gotta put in the time, the hard work, and eventually you get there.